So she's like, you can go back to your friend's place where you're staying, and I can go back to my house in Zone 6. I'm like, hello, we're married, and we're just what? Less than a week married. You to do anyhow.
Must you always go and meet your daddy? Your daddy, your daddy.
Hello.
Stay with your mom. See how she's sleeping. Oh my god. Wow, I'm proud of you.
But also just say small truth inside 10 years of managing my excesses.
Hey.
It's how that we always just begin this thing on one very weird form. Okay, welcome back.
Welcome back to our channel. Sorry, our YouTube channel.
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I hope you're subscribed.
Yes, I hope you've hit that button.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, the camera woman is Elsie.
Hi, Elsie.
Elsie is our baby and she's the camera woman, so she's yeah, Elsie, that's right. Press it, yes. Spoil it. Okay, so we stopped where we're telling you how that we broke up after we broke up while we were trying to get married. While we're trying to let our family endorse our decision to get married. My family, actually. So in 2012, we went our separate ways. We were beefing. We're still in the same church, in the same choir. Yeah. But then, it was not enmity. So it's not like we were not seeing each other eye to eye, but we were not friends anymore.
I was back to who I used to be.
Yeah, back to that seemingly hard girl that she used to be. But it wasn't that easy for her anymore because it seemed like she was trying to become someone else because she had already loosened up. She was now more accessible and all of that. I had really rubbed off on her, one of the most important things, that can happen to anybody is your ability to hear the voice of God and know whether or not you are in God's will. And a lot of times we can be making progress. You can be making progress in your life, but not in the direction of your ordained destiny.
True.
We've seen people who are moving so fast in life, but in the wrong direction. They will soon eventually realize, and then they would have to, make a U-turn and come back to the very point where they started, losing years of their lives. For us, for me especially, one of the main challenges I had was that I rushed into the relationship that I had with her without consulting God, without, being that my life has largely or completely been controlled, by God. And I'm not saying this in generic terms, everybody, as long as you're a child of God, your life is controlled by the Lord, and all of that stuff. No, but there are some people whose case is
different.
You can't do what every other person is doing.
True.
Every other person can drink Coke, but you cannot drink Coke. It's called consecration. By virtue of my consecration, I needed to have gotten direct, endorsements from heaven, to have got into that relationship. So that period when we're having issues, I had gone to God, to try to say, oh, look, and God will ask me, did you tell me? Did you tell me you were going into that relationship? Did I endorse it? Was I aware? And all of that. And so that period was I think for us, like scripture talks about, a corn of wheat, a seed or something like that that must go into the ground and die. Except something goes around and dies, and all of that. So I think for us, that was the case. That it needed to die for it to come alive again. We're not going to bore you with all the stories of why we broke up. See us privately. Maybe we'll tell you. If you're still hearing Elsie's voice, like we said, she's the camera woman in this room. So, so in the course of our breakup, well, a lot happened. A lot went under the bridge that we are still not going to have to tell you about all of that. And then, but thank God for our pastor, who kept in touch because, he knew that somehow we were meant to be together. So he kept in touch with both of us here and there.
Cut the whole long story short. The 2013, yeah?
2013.
2013 February, we got back together.
Yeah. But wait, it's obvious that we got back together. That's how we got married.
We got back together, and this young man did not want to waste time at all.
Of course, at this time I was grown. I was more grown than I was a year before. I'd proven to my family that I was more responsible and everything, and then when we brought the issue up again,
good scare.
It was express endorsement. But this also shows, that God was now involved with this. So decided to get married, and piam. Let's go and see your father. Let's go and see, she took me to see her dad. I remember that day. I remember how I was shaking. I was wearing the white shirt. I like white.
You want white shirt.
So I was wearing the white shirt. I was sitting
at the edge of the chair.
Yes. And then he was just sitting there, just waiting for me to talk. He was like, "How are you?" I said, "Fine, sir." "How is your work?" I said, "Fine, sir." I said, "Okay." So he was waiting. So I said, "Sir, I just wanted to come and see you and to tell you." And then when I was done talking, he just said, "When the right time comes, I will hear from the appropriate quarters." Like when the right time comes, you hear from the right people. He will hear from my parents, and stuff, my family and stuff like that. So yeah, fast forward, in October, we did our traditional marriage, and then in December,
November.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Jesus.
Why did I say December?
I don't know. I really don't know. We are fast forwarding.
Please, let's edit this part, oh.
Yes.
We will not edit
in November, we got married.
Before they will think I don't know my wedding anniversary. A lot of men don't know that. But anyway, on November 15th, 2023, we got married. And our journey officially began. Now, before we go into telling you the 10 things that we've picked up along the way, we need to quickly mention how our wedding went. All right, so we got married. Well, we didn't have like the most luxurious of weddings.
Yeah.
We did as much as we could afford. We didn't try to outdo ourselves. Even if, and then we tried to see how that the wedding would not be attended by so many people. So first of all, because she had always wanted a Friday evening wedding, we did a Friday evening wedding. But for her, it was because she wanted a Friday evening. For me, I wanted a Friday evening because that was going to limit the number of people. So that we are not feeding 5,000 people like Jesus did. So we had an evening wedding on a Friday, and it was amazing. But now, you remember when I said that I told my family that I didn't want to get a house until like a month to the wedding? That backfired. Because few months to the wedding, we're now not seeing house. Okay. And then by the time we were now seeing house, we had used the money I kept for the house for wedding. So on wedding day, we didn't have where to go to. Should we tell them?
Me, I sure had where to go to.
She had where to go to because she still had a house in zone 6. But you remember I said I was squatting. So where would I go to? So a friend of ours paid for 3 nights for us to stay in a hotel. And we went to that hotel somewhere around Abuja. We went to that hotel and we stayed there for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then from there we would drive into town to look for houses. We're looking for houses here and there. We eventually found a house that we couldn't afford at the time. And then this wise woman, all right, I think at this point we have been in that hotel for like 5 days, 4 or 5 days. And then this wise woman looked at me and she said, "Young man, is this not us being penny wise, pound foolish? You know, we're looking for money to pay for our house, yet we're spending the money to stay in a hotel." And I'm like, okay, where is the foolishness here? And she's like, "We can go back to our individual houses." I'm like, hey, this woman don't finish me. So she's like, "You can go back to your friend's place where you're staying, and I can go back to my house in zone 6. I'm like, hello, we're married, and we're just what? Less than a week married. She's like, why are we trying to impress? You know, who are we trying to impress? Then eventually, I mean, as difficult as it was, I saw reason. And we packed up and went back to our individual houses. She went back to, this is one of the weirdest things that happened in our marriage. We packed up and she went back to her house in zone 6, and I went back to my friend's place on Airport Road in Abuja.
And my sister was wondering,
is it that the marriage did not work again?
You are back.
Okay, and
but I just told her we are looking for house. We've not still found a house. We are looking for house. So
just the people really close to us knew about this. Because I would come from where I was staying to her place in the morning, have breakfast, and go to work, come back there, have dinner, and go back home. On Sunday morning, I'll come from there, take along to Beggar, pick drop from Beggar, go to her house, pick her, go to church. From church, we'll come back to our house. I'll have lunch there, stay there till night, and I'll go to, where I was staying. That went on for 2 weeks. Yeah. Until, some monies we were expecting came, and then we went, got our first mattress, and a few other things for the house.
Yeah.
And then we moved into our house. And then life began for us. In our house, we had our TV, we had no chairs. The TV was given to us by one of my bosses. We had no chairs in our house. We had a duvet on the ground. We sit there and eat and all of that. Now, life was going to begin for us. In our next video, we will tell you how we got to where we are now, using the 10 things that we have learned along the way. Thank you for staying with us. Remember to share this video, by the way, because this will inspire someone.
Sure.
Very sure it will inspire someone. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and click on the notification button also. We'll see you on the other side.
On the other side of the divide. Bye.
Bye.